Hello, Candace.
Not you again.
Me again. Remember our last oil change? Your boyfriend said he knew a guy who knew a guy. None of those guys knew what they were doing, including you, Todd.
Silence your oil change anxiety at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, where you can watch our experts change your oil right from your car.
Thanks for coming in.
And finish in about 15 minutes. Valvoline. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
I'm Mallory Hartley. That's Greg Powers, and it's This Week
in Cruton.
It's This Week in Recruiting, presented by our good friends at Chicken Express. Powers, I haven't had Chicken Express in a while, and I think
what are you
after
doing?
My Friday night game this week, I might have to make a stop at Chicken Express.
Where are y'all
it's been
going?
A couple weeks, so Carter and I will be at Waxahachie and North Forney.
But where's it at? It's in Arlington? Oh, well, you know where all the Chicken Expresses are in Arlington.
Funny story. We used to go to Chicken Express before every game in high school because there's a Chicken Express basically on the Arlington High School campus. You just have to, it's within walking distance.
I was going to say because of the rolls and the gravy, but I know you're a biscuit gal.
Right.
So the biscuits and gravy.
The biscuits and gravy. See, it all works out. But it was some of the best. That's one of the best Chicken Expresses I've ever had is in that location. Maybe it's because it's right next to Arlington High School, but.
Well, I'll say that I've tried to try them all.
That's fair.
I don't know that I've had a bad one yet.
I don't think I have either, but I will say, maybe I'm a little biased, but the best ones, again, is by the Arlington High School. So.
All right. Shout out to the Chicken Express by Arlington High School.
And shout out to my Kick'em Colts. All right. We've got a big week this week. Shall we get right into it?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's start with our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise this week is Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial offensive tackle Dylan Durbin. The 6'7", 255-pounder is the newest VCTX 3-star in the class of 2026. And Durbin recently committed to Wake Forest. And Powers, this is a prospect that I truly feel like has been flying under the radar.
Oh, no doubt about it, because he came into the season with 0 offers, 0 stars. He didn't have any accolades. Picked up a pretty decent offer list, UTSA, Sam Houston, some other schools as well. But Wake Forest was the school that really caught his attention. Of course, they're playing at the P4 level in the ACC, and I really like the fit at Wake Forest. They're really invading Texas in this class. Wake Forest has some pretty good commits.
Well, I was going to say, it's funny that you say that. I actually have a screenshot of our website right here, and I have 3 different recruits that are committed to Wake Forest in the class of 2026. Eli Holbrook, who's from Arlington High School. Shout out Colts again.
What a coincidence.
I know, right? Elijah Antoni, how do you say his last name? Otiano from North Forney. I'll get to see him this week.
Had a good game. He had a good game in their playoff win.
Right. So there's a lot of different guys that are from all around the state of Texas that are committed to Wake Forest. So they are kind of touching in the state of Texas a little bit right now. They're maneuvering their way. Yeah,
I would say even from the standpoint that they're getting guys that have been flying under the radar and taking advantage of what I would consider a very juicy NIL era for some of these schools outside of Texas that can get prospects that they normally wouldn't be able to come in and get because some of the schools are taking a little bit less recruits. But why I love Durbin is he's 6'7". You said 255 pounds. He has an extremely high ceiling. He is very athletic on tape. He kind of looks like an NBA small forward or power forward on his tape. He's able to mirror really effectively. Gets to the second level almost, I would say, not almost. He gets to the second level easily. Right? He can transition out there and pick up blocks on smaller and quicker defenders. And I think that when he gets to be up around 300 pounds, which they will put that weight on him once he gets to the college level, that he could be one of these guys that goes from obscurity to NFL, and that's what you're looking for. If you're one of these schools that is looking for developmental guys that can come in and really change, I think Durbin is the perfect example of that. And I would also say probably playing in Corpus Christi, he flew a little bit under the radar because it's not Dallas, Houston, or Austin, right? Or San Antonio.
And an offensive lineman, rather,
right.
So.
But when you turn on his tape,
you see why.
You see it right away.
Well, and you got another week to watch them, too, because they'll be taking on Smithson Valley here in the area round of the Texas High School Football Playoff. So definitely one that you want to keep your eye on.
That's a fun matchup. Dylan Durbin versus Hudson Woods.
Oh, yeah. That'll be a fun one. Let's jump right into our commit of the week. Our commit of the week is Waxahachie 2027 safety JayQuan Snell, the 6'3", 200-pounder, committed to Texas A&M this weekend over offers from Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Ohio State, Texas Tech, and more. All in all, Snell had over 40 scholarship offers. Insane. This is the type of guy that you want in the last line of defense, right? And I read something on him that another reporter that was covering him kind of said about him, and I really liked it. It said, he covers like a corner, stuffs the run like a linebacker, and brings the boom like a violent era safety.
Yeah, he is a heat-seeking missile, and a lot of people are going to be very familiar with the game-saving tackle he had against Duncanville. It got a lot of press. We talked about it here in the offices quite a bit, but it's like, here's what I found out. I went to the Capel game. I think it was their third game of the year. Maybe it was their second game. But into that second game, he had a whole season's worth of highlights already of big hits, and there was a goal line stand in game 1 or game 2 where he made 2 or 3 tackles coming downhill to absolutely blow up the ball carrier, save his team points. He is what, if I close my eyes and try to like build a safety on NCAA or something, and I'm going to put him on an SEC team, JayQuan Snell is that guy because he's so big and so strong. He really wastes no time approaching the zero angle and laying dudes absolutely flat. This is a massive get for Texas A&M. I think that JayQuan Snell would be the #1 rated safety in this class. That's how good. That's how good he is with the seniors that are in this class. And we're going to get into it a little bit more with the next guy that we talk about. But 2 of the top safeties in the state came off of the board this weekend, and JayQuan Snell was one that's going to stay in state at Texas A&M. And I know that Aggies fans have to be extremely, extremely happy that they're getting this guy because he could be the face of that defense. And there's a little bit of a Hatchie connection. You remember Damani Richardson, also a safety from Waxahachie, who went on to play at Texas A&M, had a pretty good career there, I would say, as well. JayQuan Snell should actually remind a lot of people of Damani because Damani attacked the game with a lot of the same vigor, was always like a no-nonsense type of guy. Well, JayQuan Snell, I think I'm going to have him rated higher than where Damani was in the state. Really? I think Damani was around that number 10 area. 2027 is a loaded class.
It sure is.
It's really good, and especially at the top. So I'm interested to see where Snell will slot in ultimately. But he's one of those guys who is going to be in the 5-star mix.
Seems like Texas A&M is winning both on the field and off the field right now. They come back from a 27-point deficit at halftime and beat South Carolina. Mike Elko signs his extension. And then now they have the #1 rated class in 2027 with this commitment from JayQuan Snell. So it feels like they're winning on and off the field right now.
I love how you put the perspective on the win because Snell was at the game this weekend and the extension. Because that says to these recruits that he's going to be here and that they have some stability in coming into a program that, one, is rated amongst the top 3 programs in the country right now, is trending in the right direction. And I've been beating the drum over the last year and a half about the type of players that Texas A&M has been adding. They're character guys who love football, and you can see that on the field right now. And I would think that I don't want to make anybody mad at me, right? But I would say that I don't want to say that Texas A&M is doing more with less because they're not. They have a lot of really talented players. What I'm trying to say is that they get the most out of their players, and that's a benefit to the coaching.
Well, Paris, that's exactly where I will be on Friday, is watching JayQuan Snell playing North Forney. That'll be a fun matchup.
Well, Legend.
I am so excited. That defense going up against a high-powered offense with Legend Bay at the helm there at quarterback for North Forney.
That was the name I was getting ready to say.
That's going to be electric. I'm so excited.
Snell versus Bay, Otiano, Marcus Page committed to Baylor. You have Cohen Brown over at Hatchie, who's committed to Texas. These two teams are going to be in an absolute war. To me, that's the premier prospect game of the week. It's loaded up.
Right. Bryson Thrower, Ryan Gilbert. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
We could just sit here and just talk about these two teams for a really long time.
You absolutely could. He's our commit of the week. It's Waxahachie 2027 safety JayQuan Snell as he commits to Texas A&M. Speaking of high-powered safeties, let's talk about another one. Our underclassman of the week is Cibolo Steele 2027 safety Eli Johnson, the 6'3", 200-pounder committed to
Ohio State.
They've
been hot in Texas.
From Texas A&M, Oklahoma, and more. Johnson has also been named as the newest DCTX 4-star. And yes, Ohio State has been hot on the recruiting trail in Texas recently.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I would say if anybody's competing with JayQuan Snell for the number one safety spot in the class, it's going to be Eli Johnson. Right. He's another one of these guys who's very well rounded in the secondary. I got a chance to watch him at the Under Armour camp in Houston where I was impressed with his coverage skills. But on tape, he's another one of these guys who will absolutely lay you flat. What I love about his game is that he is a sure tackler. And they put him in on the return game and like do some different stuff with him. Where he can show off that athleticism. This was a huge get for the Buckeyes, who are starting to turn up the heat again in Texas. They got a commitment from Legend Bay last week. Eli Johnson was in Columbus for this week's game and committed during that visit as well. So they're staying hot, and I really love to hear some of the things that Coach Sines says about Eli Johnson, because he compares him to Caden Stearns. Okay. And Caden Stearns was one of the best safeties ever watched in Texas. He was absolutely terrific, tremendous range, and Eli Johnson exhibits some of those same characteristics on tape. He's a flat-out dude who doesn't make mistakes. And, Ohio State's going to have to replace a pretty good safety next year in Caleb Downs. And I don't want to put a lot of pressure on Eli Johnson to be able to step in. Remember, he's just a junior this year. He's still got another year. To put pressure on Eli Johnson to step into a program like Ohio State and start from day one. But he has those type of talents because he's so technique sound. He doesn't make mistakes, and he can cover. He could be the type of defensive back like Devin Sanchez, who's playing a lot as a freshman there from North Shore, who can go right in and move the needle from day one. Yeah,
he's one of those safeties that definitely has a nose for the football. When I was up at Cibolo Steele this summer, we took a trip down there, to go talk to Jonathan Hatton. I remember I was talking to one of their coaches, and he was saying that one of the strengths of this team was going to be the secondary, and Eli Johnson had a lot to do with that. So even from the summer, they were like, this dude, he's going to be awesome this year.
It's just really fun to watch a program like Steele that continuously produces top recruits year over year. Last year they had Jalen Cooper, who made an instant impact at SMU. This year they have Jonathan Hatton, who's committed to Texas A&M. And I could keep talking about top recruits, right? But it's just like every single year, Cibolo Steele has a guy in the pipeline that's going to be that next dude. What a program they have, and I'll be interested to see if they're the type of team that can make that march to AT&T Stadium this year. Steele's always one of the top-rated teams in the state, and they do have the type of dudes who could make that happen.
Yeah, they're always definitely that contender in that region, right? You always kind of look at them and you're like, oh, they could definitely win that region and potentially make it to AT&T Stadium. So interested to see how far that they can go this year. He's our underclassman of the week. It's Cibolo Steele 2027 safety, Eli Johnson. All right, Powers, I think that'll do it for us today. Where are you going to be this Friday?
Well, I am going to watch Forney take on Colleen Harker Heights at Mansfield Newsom Stadium. Getting to see my dude Hudson Humble, the quarterback for Harker Heights, who is one of my favorite, I would still call him under the radar prospects in the class of 2027. He's a gunslinger. And of course, Forney has Notre Dame commit Javian Osborne, the running back there. They've got a lot of dudes too. Both of these teams are loaded up with talent, and we're getting to see like a cross-regional matchup in round 2 of the Texas high school football playoffs with two completely different styles. And I'm interested to see who's going to win the game. I picked Forney to win the region, but I would say that this is a very evenly matched game, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if Harker Heights is able to pull off that victory and bust my bracket.
Well, I was going to say, I think mine, too. I think ours is really evenly matched, too, with Waxahachie and North Forney. I think that's a pick'em game.
Y'all got a great game because Marcus Shavers, because I watched North Forney last week, had his team ready for the playoffs, and they got better throughout the course of that game as they started to build the confidence that you need in the playoffs. And then Hatchie has been an absolute wagon all year. Only one loss on the season, as does North Forney only has one loss. So you're getting down to like the top teams now, right? But they've been an absolute wagon that's loaded up with talent, and that game's going to be very evenly matched.
I'm very excited, and I get to go back to the Ag to watch it.
There you go.
Choctaw Stadium.
And Chicken Express.
It's going to be a good Friday night.
There you go.
I'm very excited. Reminder, it is the Texas High School Football Playoffs, and Dave Campbell's Texas Football has you covered all the way through to AT&T Stadium. All you have to do is go to texasfootball.com/playoffs. It's our playoff hub on our website. Make sure to check it out. You can fill out your brackets. We've got all of our brackets filled out, so make sure to go ahead and check out our playoff hub at texasfootball.com/playoffs.
And post it online and say that you beat the experts. You beat the Matt Steps of the world.
I already have a regional pick out.
You beat the Mallory Hartleys. Post those online and let us see them.
Yeah, I already have a regional pick out. Also, shout out Pflugerville Weiss. You guys are proving me right now. Really pumped about that. I think that'll do it for us today. For our producer, Sam Moore, and our director of recruiting, Greg Powers, I'm Mallory Hartley. We'll see you next Tuesday at noon for This Week in Recruiting.